Us fail till we have heaven in sight. Archangel, dark angel, lend me thy light. Through this veil till we have heaven in sight. Archangel, dark angel, lend me thy light. All right, I summoned our guest. You can bring him in now.
Is this where we say we do not own the rights to the lyrics?
No, I sang it myself.
Somebody must come again from the dead.
Hello.
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 Hey, Calvin.
Hola.
Hey, Donald. I mean, I'm so sorry. Hi, Cosmo.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Ceviche.
So, if you guys didn't notice, we have a couple guests.
Yeah.
What's up?
We've got Mikey. We've got...
not in body. Woo.
I can barely hear you. I'm so sorry. But it lends to
I'm here in
spookiness.
spirit, not in body. Woo.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. Is Jamie new?
I don't know.
I think Jamie's new.
I feel like I've seen her before, but I'm not sure.
If not, hello, welcome back.
Hello.
But if you're new, hello, welcome. So.
All right. So tonight we are talking about a very touchy subject for. Well, hello, Savage Buttons. How are you? We got some new people in here tonight. This is kind of awesome.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Views are good.
So we're going to be talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard,
whose mother suffered from
Munchausen by proxy.
But she was also a little bit of a brat.
Yes, she was a little bit of a brat, but at the same time, she was tortured.
Yeah.
Happy Friday the 13th, y'all!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yes, happy Friday the 13th.
Thank you. We're doing pretty well, thank you.
Yes,
Hi,
I'm coming into this particular stream as I'm playing almost like the devil's advocate because I know nothing on this subject, which I thought would be cool. That way I could ask a lot of questions because I don't know anything about this subject.
Okay. Well, that's actually pretty awesome. So it gives us the opportunity to kind of discuss it with somebody who has never really heard about it.
Yeah.
Which is, I like that, actually.
I'm actually fairly new to it. I know just a very little bit, but...
Oh, she says that Savage, because there's no E at the end, I'm going to say it that way. Hopefully I'm saying it right. Says that she just watched the ID on her. Yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know if you guys have seen, oh gosh, what is the show? There was a Netflix series on her that I watched and I can't remember the name of right now. It's totally slipped my mind even though I was just looking at it.
I don't think it was Netflix. It was something else, wasn't it?
No, it was on Netflix.
I know they had a show on Lifetime about her.
It was Lifetime.
But it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Nice. I am saying it right. All right, so let's jump into this. I'll read a little bit. I'm going to actually talk a little bit about Dee Dee, who was Gypsy Rose's mom.
Dee Dee Ramone was Gypsy Rose's mom?
No.
What?
No. Okay.
Dee Dee Ramone had
would you
Munchausen
stop
by proxy?
because
Would
she
you
wanted
stop
to be
it?
sedated. I want to be sedated.
Yeah.
You know, when I first heard Gypsy Rose, I thought it was a song by Cinderella.
No, it's a song by Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
That is true. That part is true. So here we go. On June 14th, 2015. Sorry, I gotta bring this up before I keep going.
Squeal.
My dog's name is Gypsy Rose, and she's a brat too, and she's named after her. Oh man. So on June 14th, 2015, sheriff's deputies in Greene County, Missouri, found the body of Claudine, known as Dee Dee Blanchard.
She would have a name, Claudine.
She was born May 3rd, 1967, in Chack Bay, Louisiana. They found her face down in the bedroom in her house just outside of Springfield, lying on the bed in a pool of blood from stab wounds inflicted several days earlier. There was no sign of her daughter, Gypsy Rose, who, according to Blanchard, suffered from chronic conditions including leukemia, asthma, and muscular dystrophy, and had the mental capacity of a 7-year-old due to brain damage. She had suffered as a result of premature birth, by the way. So, yeah. After reading...
So my first question on these stabbings, where were they on the body? It's all over?
The stab wounds, he kind of went very ragey on her. He stabbed her several times all over the place. I want to say it was like there was no real grouping that I remember.
It was just all over the place.
Yeah, he just stabbed her kind of wildly. Savage, yes, I agree. I hate her voice. I absolutely hate Gypsy Rose's voice.
You know,
it's like a mouse.
Well,
on helium.
A lot of people who've had issues like this.
Oh yeah,
because they're constantly in a childlike state, no matter what.
Hi, Kisa.
And hi, Kisa. But by being in a childlike state, they're gonna have that mousy, high-pitched voice because it's actually more of a submissive voice and stuff like that. It's not a prominent voice that you're projecting out because you don't see yourself as that. Now, she is a completely different story with it because she basically got smart and then used that to her advantage. We're going to find out here.
Oh, yeah. So, after reading troubling Facebook posts earlier in the evening, concerned neighbors notified the police reporting that Dee Dee might have fallen victim to foul play and that Gypsy Rose, whose wheelchair and medications were still in the house, might have been abducted. The following day, police found Gypsy Rose in Wisconsin, where she had traveled with her boyfriend, Nicholas Godjon. I think I said that right? Godejan?
Yes.
Whom she had met online. When investigators announced that she was actually an adult and was not suffering from any of the physical or mental issues which her mother claimed she had, public outrage over the possible abduction of a severely disabled girl gave way to shock and some sympathy for Gypsy Rose.
Well, that's Munchausen by proxy. That's what they do. They literally make their kids or whatever or person partner sick.
Well,
and
yes and yes. Yes and no.
Well, it seems to me, not to interrupt, but you're going to have some sympathizers there, like some doctors that would go along with this, because it's awfully hard to convince somebody they have leukemia.
So we'll get into that a little bit more. Basically, anytime the doctors started getting smart to Dee Dee, she would change doctors until she found a doctor that gave her the answer she wanted. There is a whole lot of malpractice in here as well. I'll go into another aspect of it in a second. I'm going to finish this part, and then I'll tell a little story about when Gypsy first became sick.
Story time, yay!
Then they catch her on video going in and out of hotel rooms with him in a dark wig. Yeah.
Oh, she was...
They did.
This is where I was saying she was a brat. it wasn't just, oh my god, I killed the person who was making me sick. You know, it literally turned into other things.
Oh, yeah. There was a
Yeah.
lot more to it. Further investigation found that some of the doctors who had examined Gypsy Rose found no evidence of the claimed disorders. One physician suspected that Dee Dee suffered from Munchausen by proxy, a mental disorder that causes a parent or a caretaker to exaggerate, fabricate, or induce illnesses in a person under their care to obtain sympathy or attention. Dee Dee was actually a nurse.
Can you say that 5 times fast? Exaggerate. Is that? Hold on, I can't
No.
even say it right now. I'm sorry.
So Dee Dee was actually a nurse, by the way. So she knew exactly what to say to convince these doctors what
She also
she wanted Gypsy to have.
and she also knew how to make her sick without.
But she wasn't actually making her sick. There was a point where she shaved her head and said, "Oh, you're going to lose it to chemo anyway." And she just kept shaving her head.
See, I was under the impression she was actually kind of making her sick a little bit.
So, Dee Dee had been making her daughter pass herself off as younger and pretend to be disabled and chronically ill, subjecting her to unnecessary surgeries and medication, and controlling her through physical and psychological abuse. Dr. Mark Feldman, an international expert on factitious disorders, stated that this was the first case he had experienced in which an abused child killed an abusive parent. Gypsy pled guilty to second-degree murder and is serving 10 years. And she is up for parole in 2024. And her boyfriend, John, or excuse me, go to John. I can't think of his first name again. ADD.
Oh, I can't.
What is his name?
Cochise?
Nicholas. Her boyfriend, Nicholas, was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 25 to life without the possibility of parole.
Well,
I don't know why it's 25 to life.
you know, when you first hear the story and you find out what happened, everyone has sympathy for it. But when you actually read into the story, that's when you're like, no, you shouldn't even be getting out in 2024. Yes, it sucks that your mother did this to you, but at the same time, you know.
Yes, a Sherwig.
Sherwig, I thank you.
Hey, Kisa!
Yeah, I was going to
Calvin.
say, on the surface, it seems a little odd for them to actually prosecute this Gypsy Rose girl based on that because of the psychological abuse. But
There's a whole lot of psychological abuse. Like,
it,
there
it
was...
does seem odd. You know what I'm saying? It does seem odd. But again, I don't know anything about this story.
Yeah, this one
A lot of
is-
psychological abuse and a lot of medical fraud. That's what I hear.
Oh, absolutely.
There-
There's a lot of doctors that should be going down for malpractice.
There was another case.
Side note,
Hi.
Metal Boat Cruise, New York. What's up, Nadine?
Nice, Nadine. That's awesome.
I'm Jelly.
I'm Jelly, and
Thank
or she's
you.
Jelly, and I'm Peanut Butter.
Hold on, there's hair in my eye.
Demon dad joke. Sorry, guys.
Yes, happy
Now you
birthday.
just got that dang song in my head stuck in my head. That peanut butter jelly time.
It's peanut butter jelly time.
No.
Yes.
Um,
we're doing this.
Yeah, actually, there was a situation that did involve.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
We'll get here in a second.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for joining us
Hi,
from
Susan.
UK.
Oh,
Awesome.
hey, from
Nice.
the UK, man.
No.
Awesome.
I was there
Hi, Kisa.
back in the Dark Ages. I kind of caused the plague. I did. You know, it happened.
Texas
No, I
was
was-
actually the original Pied Piper.
Yes. I brought the rats.
Texas was definitely the Pied Piper.
I was in nomines es patres or something like that. Spiritus donis.
Sunshine.
Please
Something,
stop.
something.
Please stop. Please stop. Oh, please stop. All right.
When
So
that's all together, we can get it right.
oh, like, oh boy.
Oh, fun fact though.
Flatu, burrata, necktie.
The English
Diagonally.
the English actually got it the worst with the Black Plague. No joke, they really did. So
Okay.
something I was listening to like later on. Like,
What?
I know, it just popped in my head. I was like, the English actually got it the absolute worst with the Black Plague. And so
Yeah, we covered the Black Plague. Oh, Mother de
Nah,
la Mort
Mother
covered
de la Mort, yeah.
the Black Plague. All right, so Dee Dee was born Claudine Petrie in Chack Bay, Louisiana, near the Gulf Coast. I'm sorry.
I like that way. I like how you said it. It was cool.
In 1967 and grew up with her family nearby in Golden Meadow. Blanchard was one of 5 children of Claude Anthony Petrie Sr. and Emma Louise Gisclair. Relatives recalled that she had a habit of stealing from her family, which they speculated was a form of retaliation when things didn't go her way. At some point in her early adult life, she worked as a nurse's aide. The family expressed suspicion that in 1997 she might have killed her own mother by denying her food.
Oh, wow.
When she was 24, she became pregnant by Rod Blanchard, who was then 17. They named their daughter Gypsy Rose because Claudine liked the name Gypsy, and Rod was a fan of Guns N' Roses.
Huh.
Shortly before Gypsy Rose's birth, on what they think was July 1991, and by the way, the reason why they say what they think is because she has multiple birth certificates that range from 91 to 95.
Dang.
Wow.
And
Talk about
they're
identity
not really
theft.
sure which one's the right one.
She probably doesn't even know either.
She's not sure what her real age is. There was
Yeah.
actually a phone call where her dad, Rod,
Mhm.
tried to call on her 18th birthday because he had kept track. And basically, she said, no, you can't talk to her right now. And it was just basically, she didn't want her to know she was an adult.
See,
Jeez.
at the moment, I still have sympathy for this person. Now, this may change the further we go into this conversation, but right now, I still have sympathy for this person.
Yeah, I have no sympathy for the mom.
No,
But-
no.
I do think that what she did turned her daughter into a sociopath.
I just looked it up right now. The
Yeah,
one thing I was actually
absolutely.
I looked into or was listening to a podcast last week. I think it was called Rotten Mangoes on this. It was called. If you ever seen the movie Unfriended or
Mhm.
documentary, that was kind of a similar case where the girl was basically the family was overprotective of the girl. And then turns out that the girl was actually having multiple Facebook or chats going where she was saying she was CIA agent, she was all this other stuff. And yes, the family was overprotective over her and did some atrocities and all, whatever, but the girl was also part of the problem. I can't think of her name right now, but yeah, she was very much part of the problem.
So Savage says, but didn't Gypsy find out what her mom was doing and still let her go on? Yes.
Yes.
There was a point that
Hi, Angie.
actually when she was pretty young, she kind of figured it out to an
Mhm.
extent, but when she got a little bit older and she had the capacity to understand what was going on, she figured it out and then kind of let it keep going.
Well, it's
She didn't
So
really know how to
she may have
stop
been
it.
enjoying the attention in some,
Yeah.
I don't want to say perverse way, but you are brought up in a situation like that to where this is the mode in which you get attention. It almost becomes normalized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually when if you guys ever get the chance, I'm sorry. Hi, Ange.
oh, look at her freaking yes.
Nice.
Love
Nice.
Undertaker. Absolutely.
No, that looks like
That's
actually the
Undertaker.
Mortician logo though, because remember he's
Yeah.
coming back as the Mortician.
In AEW, which AEW is starting up soon.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, ADD squirrel.
He's not coming back as Mortician. He's coming. He
He's-
is the Mortician.
Yes,
now.
yes. Anyway, what I was gonna say. Thanks. I
So-
forgot what I was saying.
I'm sorry. The Undertaker. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We were talking
now-
about attention.
what?
We were talking about attention.
Oh, yes. So one of the things that they noted was when she went to speak to like the investigators and everything like that, she was very submissive about it. And she just she did everything she was told. She didn't really run. She ran to begin with, but then once she was caught, that was it. Like she was very submissive. She said everything that happened. She said what she did. She said what she asked her boyfriend to do. Everything.
Yeah.
And I think that again has some kind of level of her upbringing in it, because most people would at least be like, What? No,
I don't
I didn't do it.
know if it does. I think the fact that she started learning what was going on and then went along with it. Hi, Tyler. Man, we have some new people in here
Hi,
tonight.
Tyler.
Hello.
Hi, Holly.
Hello,
How are
hello,
you?
hello.
Jamie says, "Look out for Jason."
I know, right?
I'm all,
Well, he's a deadite. I actually birthed the deadites myself back in the day.
so
That darn Ash, he took out the deadites, but I'll bring him back one of these days. I will.
Oh yeah. I definitely blame the doctors and the nurses for not reporting it when they did figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
No, Hexus has plenty of souls.
I
He
have
just
a
stole
whole
them.
bunch of them, actually, a lot.
I want it.
I am a priest.
You're not wearing your sigil.
Now, and again, element does purchase souls by an RC.
I cannot hear you.
Natalie, Mother, you.
Can you hear me
went
now?
right on there.
You may have to back out and come right back in.
Yes.
Okay.
Ange says he took your side. Yeah. I'll give it back with her price.
So I'll go into Gypsy's childhood a little bit. According to Rod, who was the dad, who remained involved in his daughter's life at this point, by the time Gypsy was 3 months old, her mother was convinced that the infant suffered from sleep apnea and began taking her to the hospital, where repeated overnight stays with sleep monitors and other tests found no signs of the condition. Claudine subsequently became convinced that Gypsy had a wide range of medical issues, which she attributed to unspecified chromosomal disorder.
Unspecified chromosomal disorder.
Yes. At some point, her mother claimed that Gypsy had muscular dystrophy and made her use a walker, forced her to use a walker, even when there was no reason.
Well, when you do force your child to be in bed, though, you do lose a lot of muscle mass and stuff like that.
This is the worst way to put it, but it was actually one of the podcasts that I listened to. Basically, they were like, she had legs like a thoroughbred.
Jesus Christ.
And people with muscular dystrophy who are wheelchair bound do not have legs like she does. Yeah.
Exactly.
Poisons.
I do
Yes.
think there were some poisons introduced, though, to her.
In the form of unnecessary medication.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wouldn't Gypsy Rose get like some sort of brain damage or something like that out of all these freaking medicines that they were giving her and stuff like that? Like, damn.
Not necessarily.
Depending on what the medication is, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, weren't they giving her medicine for like leukemia and stuff like that?
Well, no.
It was more
No.
psychological damage that she received because of.
What's up?
Can you hear me now?
Mostly.
Mostly.
Mostly, okay.
It was mostly psychological damage that happened to her. It was nothing else.
So,
And then she turned around and used it.
Gypsy stated that when she was 7 or 8, she was riding on her grandfather's motorcycle when they were involved in a minor accident. A very minor accident, by the way. She scraped her knee. That's it. Like normal kids do. She scraped her knee. Her mother swooped her up and started yelling at everybody that she was going to need surgery for this.
Jesus Christ.
Okay?
Oh, jeez, what
This
the?
is the point at which she put Gypsy in a wheelchair.
I've met these Karens throughout the ages.
You gotta be
I'm not gonna
kidding
lie.
me.
No, this is the point where she put Gypsy in a wheelchair and said, and then would tell people that she was going through all of these surgeries for that knee injury, which was just a scraped knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was told she told everybody that the doctors had given a wheelchair to her because she needed to use it.
Savage says it right there. Most likely it was just sedation.
Yeah, sedation and the meds. Yeah. Absolutely.
And see, anytime you ever hear about cases like this, they never end well. They never end well.
No.
No, I actually have an aunt with Munchausen by proxy. It's quite a sight to behold, to be honest.
I didn't know that. Holly says she had a feeding tube for years.
She did.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they even put a GJ tube.
What's a GJ tube again?
So it's the one. It goes in here and through. Well, you can't see what I'm doing, but it goes in through the stomach. And there's actually like a device that you carry around with you. I have a friend who used to have this.
See, back in the day, back in the old days, we banned those in hell, and I was like, that's too creepy. I don't want that here at all.
Yeah, so I think it was it was a GJ tube, but if it was just a G tube, it's still bad. It's still a tube that goes externally into your stomach and gives you the nutrients that you need, because your body's not properly filtering the nutrients.
Yeah.
And see, her mother must have been like just this incredibly smooth talker to be able to convince a medical facility to do that. That's some serious stuff.
Well, look at sociopaths and everything throughout history and stuff like that. There's a lot of them who have made it past doctors left and right.
Check
and that's
this.
exactly what her
Yeah,
mother
that's
was.
true.
Savage says, I've had a bleeding disorder for over 8 years, and they can't find anything, I'm guessing. I've had over the test and different doctors in different states, and it's still nothing. I have to have blood transfusions, F doctors. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing is,
I'm sorry to hear that.
they don't seem to find these things until it's getting really rough. I don't understand how. I don't know how else to say that.
Not to really get into this, but doctors tend to do everything via pills for the longest time without treating anything. You know? It's basically
Your aunt, her shoulder.
My aunt, back from the Roman ages, or which one? There's a lot of them. Okay. They just tend to, you know, whatever's on the surface is what we're going to treat right now. If we can get you moving to next week, and then we're going to keep that going. You know. I'm looking at a third.
Yeah, I'm still flabbergasted about this.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my third transfusion, and I don't want anybody touching me. They make up stupid excuses.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that.
they
That's
do.
shitty. So, Gypsy often went with her parents to the Special Olympics events. In 2001, when Dee Dee claimed Gypsy was 8, she was actually 10. She was named the honorary queen of the Crew of Mid-City, a child-oriented parade held during Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Gypsy seemed to have stopped going to school after 2nd grade, possibly even as early as kindergarten. Her mother homeschooled her after that. Supposedly, this was because her illnesses were so severe. In reality, she wasn't teaching her anything.
No, it's just
She taught herself how to read, and actually the way she did this was through Harry Potter books.
Harry Potter.
Huh.
Wow.
She had to teach herself how to read.
I'll let you guys know I taught Voldemort everything. I did. Just saying. God.
While Gypsy's father, Rod, remarried, Claudine moved in with her father and stepmother. They would later claim that Claudine, when preparing food for her stepmother, poisoned it with Roundup weed killer.
The
leading
hell?
to her own chronic illnesses during this period. During that time, she was arrested for several minor offenses, including writing bad checks, but also theft. When the Petries began to regularly confront her about her treatment of Gypsy and express suspicion about her role in the stepmother's health, she left with Gypsy for Slidell. Sorry.
If
Her stepmother's health returned to normal after she left, though.
if you know the amount
Wow.
to give people, you can do it. I'm not saying you should do it. That's if people know the amount, you can make someone sick for a long time. Sorry, trigger warning. This isn't a trigger warning. This is accurate. A lot of people do use.
Do not
Roundup
try
and
this
stuff
at
like
home,
that.
people.
Yes, do not do this. But
This is just like when I
Yeah.
talk about plants, guys. Let's not actually do what we're talking about. So in Slidell, she and Gypsy lived in public housing. They paid their bills with Rod's child support checks and public assistance. Claudine had been granted due to her daughter's supposed medical conditions. They spent most of their time visiting various specialists, mostly at Tulane Medical Center and the Children's Hospital of New Orleans. Seeking treatment of the illnesses Claudine claimed Gypsy suffered from, which she now said included hearing and vision problems, while a muscle biopsy found no sign of the muscular dystrophy. Claudine insisted Gypsy had it. She was successful in securing treatment for her daughter's other purported issues, though. After she told doctors Gypsy had seizures every few months, they prescribed her anti-seizure medication. Several surgeries were performed on her during this time, and Claudine regularly took Gypsy to the emergency room with minor ailments.
Did social services ever step in?
Yes. So there was
Okay.
actually a time when social services was called, and in fact, it's actually after this next portion where she goes, "Oh, all of the information was lost in Hurricane Katrina. Sorry, don't have any paperwork." And
Wow.
they came over to her, and she was like, "Oh, we're running away from my abusive ex-husband."
Well, now let me ask you, with Munchausen, I know that there are certain psychoses that it sometimes can cause more damage to confront, like head on, someone that is either guilty of said issues or what have you. I'm wondering if this is one of those psychoses that is kind of like that. Like they have to tread lightly because it could cause the mother to melt down and maybe do something bad to the child.
It
Yeah.
I
definitely
don't know.
can, because anybody, especially if they're on the, let's say they're on the verge of being caught.
Yeah.
They would be, the person would have a good chance of, or they would definitely be on the verge of basically just saying, screw it, I'm gonna try to kill my child in a certain way where it looks normal, and she died of her diseases and everything like that, and now I'm gonna be free to go off and basically start this all over again. These people don't stop. They it's just the same as child killers and stuff like that, or like the angels of death that you hear about, the serial killers that you hear about in hospitals and stuff. They keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
So Savage says, I've been diagnosed with over 12 different dysfunctions and diseases that they can't figure out and have no clue to. So I don't really trust doctors. So I could see where Gypsy's point was with the doctors, but she still should have known better. Well, and Jennifer says, my son had a G-tube for years when he was younger and multiple surgeries, and will be going through another on August 23rd, and he is a special needs child. I'm sorry, but I would have kicked her mom's ass myself. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
This is the thing. I don't have sympathy for Dee Dee.
I don't either.
This is one of those situations where I have zero sympathy for Dee Dee.
Well, see, that's where I'm at right now. Like, no victim shaming or anything like that, but I just don't have a whole lot of sympathy at this point, except for Gypsy Rose. But again, I don't know the end of the story yet.
Well, where Gypsy's fault lies is she did come into her own. She did figure out how to manipulate somebody.
What?
And she manipulated him into doing her bidding.
Her mother did pass that on to her, technically.
Yeah.
But that's where that argument, like Hexus is saying, that argument to where it's like, this is normal behavior for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what she's learned. This is not a clear right from wrong if you've always been taught wrong is right.
Yeah. Holly says, I don't think Gypsy would know because it's all she knew. Yeah. Absolutely. Savage says, totally agree with kicking her mom's ass, but I totally agree with kicking the doctor's ass too.
Oh, absolutely.
For not stopping it, considering
exactly.
I've dealt with a lot, and they've basically said to me that just to donate my body to science so somebody else can live. So yeah, I'm sorry that you're.
I'm right there with you, Savage. Absolutely.
Yeah, she says she's sorry about her kiddo, or Jennifer's kiddo, and that she also has 2 special needs boys.
Yeah, a lot of doctors will just, like I said, it's all topical with them. A lot of them it's very much topical.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, here's medications. Let's see if this works, and just get them out and do whatever.
Well, I mean, I have a few things. I used to go to a doctor, and I used to have really bad pains in my calves, and I, for the love of it, couldn't figure out, where these pains were coming, how these pains were where or how they were happening. But I mean, there was times that I couldn't even walk or anything like that, and they were like, "Oh, well, muscle relaxers, painkillers."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I need something better than that. I mean, at least send me to a therapist or something like that. Some kind of like,
get in a pool, something.
Yeah, because it might have been something as simple as like, a muscle knot or something, and
I mean, it could have been something as crazy as like deep vein thrombosis, and something as simple as
Yeah, and
you didn't have enough potassium.
yeah,
Mhm.
but I mean, all they wanted was muscle relaxants and pills.
Yeah.
Well,
For the
I've
record,
noticed that over my 147 years that it seems like the doctors have changed. It's very hard to find a very good doctor because it seems, at least to me, that it's string you along rather than give you something they know that it's going to make you better,
yeah.
and you will not need their services for some time.
Well, that's the
Mhm.
thing is there is no money in curing something. There's a
This is true.
lot of money in treating it.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the whole thing with cancer
Well,
and
that big that new MRI machine they get has
And
to be paid for
probably has
somehow.
a certain degree of involvement with this. They
Mhm.
saw a cash cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, that new MRI machine or whatever they get has to be paid for somehow. So
And
you keep somebody sick,
I
and you're going to
Doctors
keep
are
getting money
poison.
coming in.
and I
Don't
warn
trust
I warned this right. I send this warning right now. Do not try this at home. But the way I started treating my own self with my pains and everything like that. I'd get a hammer.
Oh yeah, don't do that. I mean, if
But
you could get a
no,
hold
no,
of
no, no,
the
no. But it's not that I would
activator,
slam my leg with a hammer or anything like that. No.
just
What I would
slide.
do is kind of tap the where it was hurting and everything like that. And I
Mhm.
found more relief than taking painkillers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I send that warning because people probably might think, I don't want people thinking, oh well, yeah, I'm gonna go slam my leg with a hammer or wherever. No, no, no,
I'm
no, no,
guessing
no,
you
no,
sort
no.
of used
You're
it
all-
like an activator.
Hey guys, do you guys like
Yeah.
Cannibal Corpse? Yes. Okay. Get an axe, chop your own legs off. All right.
Oh geez.
I fixed everything.
Yeah, no, they
I'm
love
kidding,
me
I'm kidding.
for that one up here in Alaska. Nice. Yeah, you can definitely get calf pain from dehydration. Yeah, absolutely.
Dehydration. You also have
Low potassium, low sodium.
diabetes. Diabetes is a big
Diabetes
thing
can
where you
cause
get
it.
a lot of pain.
But
from
yes,
the legs.
and I finally did get the result of why I'm getting most of these pain. It is diabetes. It's due to what is that muscle? What's that thing? It's a thing where your muscles deteriorate.
Muscular degeneration?
No, it's a diabetics get it or something like that.
Oh.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what
I
it's
can't think
called.
of the term.
Me neither.
Yeah.
But they said that I had that due to diabetes. So
I'm also anemic, Savage. I'm lucky I've been able to maintain it with, maintain my iron levels with more natural purposes. There are some pills that are plant-based.
Mhm.
We sacrifice
and
humans, and she drinks the blood.
and it's lots of
That's all it is.
broccoli and beets and spinach and
It's a lot of basically. Okay, guys, you know how you have to have ranch on broccoli and stuff like that.
Iron pills make you feel
Yeah,
so
well, we have to
sick.
slit
Ugh.
throats and pour blood over the broccoli. That's the only way she can take it. That's it. Sorry, I'm kidding.
Take it
Savage.
slow.
Actually, I will message you after this and send you the link. Cosmo's back, by the way.
Cosmo's
You
back.
know what, guys? We got to do a commercial real fast.
Yes,
Give me a moment here. Let me
Which-
find it.
I know they messed up all the. It's all out
It's
of
all
order.
linear now.
Yeah.
All right, we will be right back.
This is Mikey from Out of the Ordinary, and you're watching PBDC TV.
morning, when I'm listening to music and getting a little bit of time for some creepy research, I'm always representing with my PBDC merch. What a better way to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Don't forget to check out our other cool merch at rootsbleedred.com. That's rootsbleedred.com.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
Still my
All right,
favorite part.
the answer to your to the thing about the pains that I was getting, it's called diabetic neuropathy.
Oh, neuropathy. Okay.
Mhm.
I wasn't giving my human beer on the side.
Uh,
Not one bit. No.
Okay, you're on my antlers.
Well, you're on my soul.
So, all right. So we're gonna go now. Now let me just kind of backtrack here for a second. She put her daughter through muscle biopsies and multiple surgeries.
Ugh. Biopsies are
This is
brutal.
horrible.
Yeah. So after Hurricane Katrina devastated the area in 2005, Claudine and Gypsy left their ruined apartment for a shelter in Covington, set up for individuals with special needs. Claudine said Gypsy's medical records, including her birth certificate, had been destroyed in the flood. A doctor there from the Ozarks suggested that they relocate her to native Missouri, and the next month they were airlifted there. Oh God, they do spinal taps.
Ugh.
Bleh,
You know,
no.
the one scene I can actually, the movie that,
We are not talking about spinal tap, are we?
no,
Oh,
Spinal Tap's a good movie. The one thing like that actually like really like bothered me with like The Exorcist was the Spinal Tap scene where they went through right here and the blood just spurts out. I was like, oh my God, it was like accurate and everything like that. I was like, ugh.
Oh God,
And then her running upside down on the stairs actually, you know, I like that part. But
that's awesome. I have a friend that it freaks out really bad.
and I was
I
was
love
like,
it. I'll
that's
rewind
not
it.
how we do possessions, you know, at all. I was like, let me just teach you guys how this happens.
So, the move to Missouri. At first, Claudine and Gypsy lived in a rented home in Aurora, in the southwestern area of the state. During their time there, Gypsy was honored by the Ole Foundation, which advocates for the rights of feeding tube recipients, as its 2007 Child of the Year.
Wait, like the Ole.
Wow.
No,
Like-
not Ole, like with an A. It's Ole.
Oh, I was thinking like Ole, like beef jerky and stuff like that, or oh, what is that called again?
What?
Never mind. I like beef jerky.
I thought it was what Latinos say. Ole!
Hey, pretty much.
Hey, oye,
It's
como
that.
está? Ceviche. I like
Okay,
ceviche.
let's stop.
I had it for the
Let's-
first time today.
We are going to. Okay, so she says, so Savage says that she hates the spinal tap. She's had spinal taps done.
She'll have a million.
She'll have a
kids.
million kids before doing that again. I don't blame you, dude. I really don't.
Oh.
So
when we
in-
finally birth the Antichrist, you might.
In 2008, Habitat for Humanity built them a home with a wheelchair ramp and a hot tub as part of a larger project on the north side of Springfield to the east. They moved there. The story of a single mother with a severely disabled daughter forced to flee Katrina devastation received considerable local media attention, and the community often pitched in to help the woman, who now went by Claudinia Blanchard with an E at the end. She added an E to Blanchard, whom they knew as Dee Dee.
How do you do this in the 2000s? Like, I get the 70s and 80s, but so much is connected by this point.
Yeah. This is 2008. Like, this is what I'm not understanding. Then again, I talked to my
This
doctors.
is post 9/11. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When they started keeping track of everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
the only way
so
I could actually justify anything that's going on here, or not justify it, the way she's getting away with all this stuff, There's so much information out there, and there's so much stuff going back and forth between doctors, all this other stuff, and she's moving from doctor to doctor to doctor. That's how she's getting away with it. It's hidden in plain sight. That's the only way that she's getting away with it.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, when I go talk to doctors, they don't have my records from down south. They don't even, I can't even get them to communicate between Kaiser and my new doctor.
Companies and stuff like that are just like police agencies. Like the FBI does not talk with the CIA. The FBI, the ATF doesn't talk with FBI, stuff like that. Whenever they need stuff, because it's all competition.
Yeah.
They want to literally be the person to solve everything or fix everything, and then have all that funds come in and like that. That's exactly
is true.
Oh yeah.
That is true.
The outpouring of support included many charitable contributions. In Louisiana, mother and daughter had at most availed themselves of, occasional stays at the Ronald McDonald House during medical appointments. But in Missouri, they received free flights to see doctors at Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City, free trips to Walt Disney World, and backstage passes to Miranda Lambert concerts, where she was frequently photographed with the singer, via the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Who's Miranda Lambert again?
She's a country singer.
Like the good outlaw country singer, or
No.
the boy band country singers?
She's just a country singer.
Ugh.
So,
just by proxy, like all this behavior is just like strengthening the fact that Gypsy Rose. I mean, this is my assumption. Strengthening the fact that Gypsy Rose this is how you go about getting attention.
Yeah, exactly. So Rod, Gypsy's dad, also continued to make monthly child support payments of $1,200. As well as sending Gypsy gifts and occasionally talking to her on the phone.
Jesus.
During one phone call, which was on her 18th birthday, he recalls Dee Dee telling him not to mention her daughter's real age, since she thinks she's 14.
$1,200 a month?
Wow.
Sorry, $1,200 a month, even like the mid-2000s. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even get that much.
Especially like in the South. And she moved from the South into Missouri. Like technically, that's still the South. But
it's still the South.
I mean, it's above. It's still northern, but
it's still the South.
It's the South. But anyway, I know I was in the Civil War. I'm kidding.
Well, and it would have to play into it too. I'm sure, as far as that child support, the fact that supposedly Gypsy Rose needed special care.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how she was getting.
Well, so.
Wow.
Rod and his second wife would regularly plan to go visit them in Springfield, and Dee Dee would change the plans. She told her neighbors in Springfield that Gypsy Rose's father was an abusive drug addict and alcoholic who had never come to terms with his daughter's health issues and never sent them any money.
Oh, straight up sociopath.
Wow.
Straight up sociopath right there.
Many people who met Gypsy were charmed by her. She's only 5 feet tall, nearly toothless. She had large glasses and a very high-pitched, childlike voice, reinforcing the perception that she had all the problems that her mom said she did.
Of course she was toothless, because she was, like, malnourished and everything,
Well, she often wore wigs and hats to cover her baldness. Her mother regularly shaved Gypsy's head to mimic the hairless appearance of a chemotherapy patient, allegedly telling Gypsy that since her medication would eventually cause her hair to fall out anyway, it was best to just shave it in advance.
Damn.
When they left the house, Dee Dee often took an oxygen tank and feeding tube with them. Gypsy was fed the children's liquid nutrition supplement, Pediasure, well into her 20s.
So, this is also a messed up part here, too. She took it with her, did it in public so people would see her doing it.
Yes.
Narcissism right there.
Yeah. That
is straight up narcissism. Hey, look at what I'm doing to my daughter here because she needs this. Something that she actually didn't need to have in her at all. That's absolutely just really messed up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, primary doctors, Savage says, primary doctors brings in new doctors off the plane, and I tell them I'll make you cry and have something to talk about with your wife over dinner. It usually does happen more often. I don't think I haven't had one and said it didn't happen. with my internal bleeding, I got nothing but, hey, how far along are you? Can I touch you and pray on you? Because I look like I'm 9 months pregnant because of it. And I don't feel like going out. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry to hear that too. Kiza also said something. No.
I see that one. Hexus needs a live feed on how demons possess beings.
Morbid Tales. Every now and then when I do Morbid Tales on Eating Sundays.
It'll happen.
It'll happen. I promise.
It will happen. So, here we go. Dee Dee used physical abuse to control her daughter, always holding her daughter's hand in the presence of others. Whenever Gypsy said something that was either suggested she was not genuinely sick or would seem to be above her purported mental capabilities, Gypsy recalls that her mother would give her a very tight squeeze on the hand. When the two were alone, Dee Dee would strike her with her open hands and a coat hanger.
What?
Yeah. Medical interventions continued. Dee Dee had some of Gypsy's salivary glands treated with Botox, then extracted altogether to control her drooling, which Gypsy later claimed her mother had induced using a topical anesthetic to numb her gums before doctor's visits. The lack of salivary glands, coupled with side effects of the anti-seizure medication she was given, caused Gypsy's teeth to decay to the point that the majority of her front teeth were extracted and replaced by a bridge. Tubes were implanted in her ears to control her myriad of purported ear infections.
Why would the doctor... What the fuck? Sorry.
Yes, Peter. Very much so.
Oh, I know I'm not supposed to cuss so much, but what the hell, man?
Yeah.
This is just a clusterfuck. This is a clusterfuck of adults. This is horrible.
Well, it's literally
That's worse than a hypochondriac.
Also, keep in mind, at this point, she's 18.
It's a woman coming in and going, hey, there's something wrong with my daughter's hearing. Let's go ahead and have these tubes put in. Okay, let's do that.
You know...
What? You didn't even check things out to make sure everything is fine?
Yeah, I almost had tubes in my ears when I was a kid. I'm so glad I never did.
By the way, I've actually had the human I possess right now has had a swollen salivary gland in his lip. Mm-hmm. That shit sucks. It's like popping a grape when it busts. Sorry.
Anyway, so, gosh, here we go. Let's see. What do we want to get to? Do we want to talk about her growing independence?
Yeah, because we're going to get into her, actually. Let's get into the
We may need
murder.
to do a part 2 soon.
We could do a part 2. We could do a part 2 tomorrow night.
We can actually do a part 2.
Let's,
So, here we go. Suspicions of deceptive behavior.
Let's get into that and go to the growing independence, and then we'll stop right there and we'll go to a part 2.
Okay, so Bernardo Flasterstein. Say that name 10 times fast.
Jesus said she's had 6 operations. Wow.
Bernardo Flasterstein.
Jesus has 6 ear operations.
Oh my god.
Flasterstein.
That is one of the things
I wonder if she was even taken to a gyno.
Who knows? The inner ear thing, the human I possess right now has had that massive ear infections and stuff like that at one point, and let me tell you, that is absolutely terrible.
I woke up not able to hear out of one ear, but it didn't hurt.
Oh, when it popped?
I went to the doctor and they were like, "How much pain are you?" And I'm like, "Not much, like 2, 3." And they're like,
"My doctor."
What?
When I went to the doctor,
no, I don't feel it.
He was like, "How much pain are you in?" I'm literally cowering in the corner, covering my ear, saying, "Please don't talk. Please stop talking." And they're like, "Okay, here's these pills. Here's these meds for you." And then it all ruptured and puddled on my shoulder.
So, Bernardo Flasterstein, a
Is that right?
pediatric neurologist who saw Gypsy in Springfield, became suspicious of her muscular dystrophy diagnosis.
Flasterstein and part-time pervert.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. He ordered MRIs and blood tests, which found no abnormalities. I don't see any reason why she doesn't walk, he told Dee Dee in a follow-up appointment. After seeing Gypsy stand and support her own weight, Flasterstein noted that Dee Dee was not a good historian. After contacting Gypsy's doctors in New Orleans, he learned that Gypsy's original muscle biopsy had come back negative, undermining Dee Dee's self-reported diagnosis of muscular dystrophy, as well as her claim that Gypsy's records had been destroyed by flooding.
So we have one doctor that's actually doing his job.
Yes. So, he also suspected the possibility of Munchausen by proxy. Dee Dee contrived to gain access to Flasterstein's notes and subsequently stopped taking Gypsy to see him. Flasterstein did not follow up by reporting Dee Dee to social services, though. That's where he messed up.
Yep, that's where he dropped the ball.
Yeah, he said he had been told by other doctors to treat the pair with golden gloves and doubted the authorities would even believe him anyway. In 2009, an anonymous caller told the police about Dee Dee's use of different names and birth dates of herself and her daughter and suggested Gypsy was in better health than claimed. Officers who performed the resulting wellness check accepted Dee Dee's explanation that she used the misinformation to make it harder for her abusive ex-husband to find her and Gypsy without talking to Rod, and reported that Gypsy seemed to be genuinely mentally handicapped. The file was there closed.
Well, reporting her to social services really wasn't working so well to begin with, because she was reported to social services multiple times, and they didn't do jack shit.
Well, one of the other things that they didn't really mention here was there was actually a video. It may be further down. We may get into it, when we finish this up. But there was a video that they did for I don't know if it was Make-A-Wish.
I know what you're talking about. I think I've
where
seen that.
She stands up and jumps into the snow, and then she starts low crawling, kind of like pretending her legs don't work. But she literally just jumped in the snow.
Look at me crawling in this barbed wire here. My legs totally don't work here.
And she'd like grab her legs as somebody who was disabled would when they put them into the wheelchair.
No.
Yeah, this was bad.
All right.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for not getting to the.
Yeah, let's get to the comments real fast
here.
and we'll be out of here in a second.
So Kisa had some bad ears growing up. Savage said she was born with fluid in her ear and had to have it pop, was basically deaf. Oof.
Yeah, when I had a massive ear infection when I was in 7th grade, when I was talking about it. It was 7th grade. When it finally ruptured, my left ear, I was deafened for about 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden just came back. Everything just came back. But ever since then, I still have a ton of buildup that happens in there. And I never want to go through an ear infection again. That was absolutely terrible.
Ow. So Jennifer says, thank goodness I have doctors that actually care for my son's well-being and not ones that just want to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had that happen to me as a child. They had to drain the fluid from the ear. Oof.
Yee.
Oof. Yeah, no, that hurts.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof. All right, guys. So we are going to end this. Do you guys have any more questions? I totally talked over you guys most of the time.
No. This has been great. I'm still in the sympathy, audience right now for Gypsy Rose, but I do have a feeling this is probably going to wind up changing just a wee bit.
Oh yeah, it's going to change a little bit. As much as I actually know about her, I still have sympathy for her. I still don't think that she belongs in prison. I think she belongs in
a mental ward,
a mental care facility.
That's where I'm getting at. Yeah,
I agree.
When we get to the point of the murders and stuff like that, and her on a run, she was very much a brat, and it was very much learned from her mother on how to act. Mm-hmm. And that's how she took advantage of another person, because he was on the spectrum, or wasn't he?
I don't know if he was on the spectrum or not. I don't remember.
His IQ was not high.
He, there were even situations where they snuck off together and met at the theater, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what it was. She convinced her mother to take her to the theater, and she said she had to go to the bathroom, and told him that she would be there, and they snuck off and had sex.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how she manipulated him.
She was pretty manipulative, and she learned it from her mother. Is what I was pretty much need to get. What was it saying? Hi, Carl.
Carl
as well.
Hi, Dina.
Yes, mental health at a hospital. Exactly.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so guys, thank you for joining us tonight. If you'd like to join us for the continuation, feel free, please. If not, it's totally okay. Please be in the comments. And
when are we doing the continuation?
Do you want to do it tomorrow? What do we have going on tomorrow, guys?
We do tomorrow night. Well, it's gonna be late.
Yeah,
I ain't
we're
got
still
nothing
on
to
summer
go.
break, so Saturdays are open. I think we've got some things coming Sundays.
We will post what time we're gonna do it
Yes.
later. Because we're not 100% sure if it's gonna be
Well, I'm done stealing souls
tomorrow?
at 7 o'clock.
We could always do it on Sunday if we need to.
Yeah, we can figure something out here. It will definitely be the second episode. Will be up this weekend.
Thank you so much.
We're out of here.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Bye.
I don't know which commercial to play yet. Hold on. You know, I haven't done banned book for a while. No. Let's do this one.
Okay, let's do that one.
This is Mr. Applewhite speaking. There is nothing wrong with your device. Join me here on Psycho Bunny DC. A delightfully dreadful consternation of horror content. Use your head and free your mind.